Hey. We're here, baby.
Yeah, getting it all ready. Should be a good one tonight, PLo. I guess we'll give it a couple seconds. If anybody's new to this kind of space, we treat it just like the pod. Tonight's going to be a little bit different because we're going to have a guest pop on, hopefully.
At any minute.
Any minute, probably. So, but the way these things go is, PLo, I guess if you want to tell everybody right from the get-go how they can participate with their voice, you can send in messages from, I think, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Yep, we can see those comments. So if you comment, we will throw it up on the screen. Speaking of, man, they're not wasting any time. Puffer jacket enthusiast said, "Are y'all ready for the hot air balloons?" Absolutely. Can't wait.
And helicopters, I think, was part of
helicopters, fireworks, all the above. If somebody on the Twitter space will let me know if you can hear both Jason and I appreciate that in the comments. Just let me know.
Give us a thumbs up
if you want to, speak tonight, when we get to that portion, you'll need to hop over onto the Twitter space, and we will just request basically to, and I'll throw it up on the screen here. Just request to speak, and then we'll get to you. But other than that, we're going to get rolling here, and hopefully our guest is
still waiting for confirmation. If everybody can hear both of us saying things.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's make sure
we can hear you loud and clear from our good friend Cloverleaf. Hey, buddy.
The Leaf. Goodness gracious.
Leaf. I know the Leaf watched today.
He's a treasure.
He is.
In every way, shape, and form.
And don't ever change the Orange Julius profile picture.
No doubt. Okay, well, PLo, let's go ahead and get this puppy rolling.
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't know if you're going to do the music and all that, or
we can. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Let's do it. Oh, hold on.
There we go. Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to another episode of To the Top Talk, brought to you by Katie Bailey with Dunbar Real Estate. To the Top Talk is the original and longest-running Southern Miss podcast in the market. We're recording this episode on
December the 12th.
From beautiful Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Here, as always, with your break from the high resource for propaganda to talk a little Southern Miss athletics. I'm your host, Jason Bailey. Joining me now, the one and only Patrick Lowry.
Hey.
You need to have all those sound effects ready to rock tonight with the pew pew and the.
I know. I just about ripped one right there. Just a little.
Ooh, don't be ripping one. Ooh, that even sounded a little rippish. But you have your wheels turning right now for when our guest does show up. If you want to have a special kind of music ready for him to go, and keep an eye on the To the Top Talk message center too, in case he has some problems getting.
Yeah. Well,
I had problems to start off with. I had problems with Wi-Fi, and this thing. I'm still in this sling from my surgery that I had a week and 1 day ago now.
Has it been a week already?
Wow. Or is it just a week? It was last Wednesday or Thursday, and it was last Thursday. Today's Thursday, right?
Yeah,
so 1 week.
It's
been 1 week.
Okay.
But this thing, man. So I had to put. I don't know if you can tell on the video, but this is a Southern Miss scarf that I kind of tied around the sling because it was making the Velcro and all that was kind of rubbing and just making me break out. This scarf is about 1,000 degrees, so I don't know how long tonight.
Just that's sleep going out on the back porch tonight.
Well, just with the show, this thing's got. I have to wear this during the night, but as far as the show
goes, get you a little fan.
This thing might not make it. But anyways, so yeah, tonight's episode is, of course, brought to you by Katie Bailey with Dunbar Real Estate. Something to show, something to list, something to sell. Call Katie today at 601-408-9980. Katie Bailey, your real estate agent for the Pine Belt. Any house, anywhere, anytime. And any coach, if you want to call her. You're all looking for houses.
Call her up. Buy one, get one free.
Especially, you know, kind of specializing in Midtown and downtown. I mean, you can go out to Canebrake, man, or you can be right here in Midtown, 5 minutes from the office, right? So anyway, give Katie a call. Also brought to you by PLo and his Hub City Eats account.
Hey.
For all of your Greater Hattiesburg suggestions for what's good on the menu, make sure you visit Hub City Eats before you go.
Also, coaches and coaches' wives, check out Hub City Eats so you know where to eat when you're in Hattiesburg.
No doubt. So what happened since the last time that we recorded? Well, football ended, thank God. That's over. I didn't think it was ever going to end.
Right.
Coach Huff was officially announced after we sat on it for a good week, and people were like, "I thought y'all said he was gonna, well, you know, you did the hippo and the whole deal." Like, yeah, well, he's coming. It's just they're still playing, right? They won. We did play some basketball games. I had a birthday. That was really fun. That was yesterday.
Hold on a second. Keep going.
You got a happy birthday for me?
Hey. A little jazz, birthday.
I like it. Hey, good. Look at you. You've been practicing.
Fade in, fade out.
We actually went to the Coach Huff presser today. It was awesome. It was unique, and we're gonna. I'd love to get you were a little closer to the action than I ended up being.
Yeah.
So I'd love to get your perspective on that. And we booked one hell of a guest. So whenever he shows up, we will get right into him. But before that, man, like us, just started off with the presser. What were your thoughts from the presser today?
Yeah, I mean, obviously at first glance, I mean, wow. I've been a part of a lot of Southern Miss, or at least been a part of or been to a lot of the pressers or just general press conferences, and man, that was a lot of work to make that. And what a great idea. I think one thing Jerry DeFata and I talked about, and I talked with a couple of people, is we have some really incredible spaces and places on campus that are severely underutilized. And kudos to whoever's idea that was to have it out there, because I think it's one of the coolest things in college football. I think it's
talking about the Eagle Walk.
The Eagle Walk, yep. The Eagle Walk. And I mean, I know it's a little cool out there. I know,
but it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. I was very comfortable. But it was just, it was just such a cool experience. Him coming from the back and walking down the center, like, how cool is that? I mean, everybody's seen.
Hey, did you think about this? It went through my mind when I'm watching. What? Because again, you were closer to the action than I was. That tells you how many people were there. Is that I had to kind of figure out what was going on, because I'm like 20 people deep on the side. But did it seem like prophetic or just like some foreshadowing? Maybe I don't know what the literary term is here, but that he was going like, we're trying to turn everything around. Everything we've been doing, we're trying to do the opposite, right?
Yeah.
And he was walking the other way on Eagle Walk. Huh?
Yeah.
How about that?
I like it. Well, and everybody's seen the whole pipe and drape about 1 million times. And, it's, I'm not sure, since our Marshall fans were swimming in their head right now. I'm going to talk a little bit about them, because I did see some pictures on Twitter about their press conference. And speaking of like womp womp, it was one little bitty
not up to snuff.
One little bitty step and repeat in the background in an auditorium, and it was super lame. So,
we had some bells and whistles that I'm not sure I've ever seen utilized.
Some pyrotechnics.
Pyrotechnics, like, freaking Whitesnake was on stage or something.
Yeah. It was awesome.
And then that skinny kind of billboard, video board.
Yeah. So we've done pull-up banners before in the past, but that is a great addition. And being able to run that, I mean, when Jeremy kicked it to that video and like that played as it flanked him standing there in the middle, I thought that was very incredible. Well, and then, as a designer, like it's way easier than having to get something printed and hung up and then you use it one time and it's done. But
So as far as the substance of the press conference and what Coach, well, I guess what everybody had to say, what Jeremy had to say, how he presented Coach Huff. Then after Coach Huff walked up through the band and through the cheerleaders and all of that, and when he made it to stage, and he got to the point pretty quick. But as far as some of that substance, I know that you were tweeting out on the To the Top Talk account the entire time quotes that he was saying, and I have a few that I jotted down. He mentioned trust the process. He mentioned attitude and work ethic, compete and competing, discipline, no shortcuts to success. I mean, did any of that kind of resonate with you? And what was maybe something that stuck out to you that he said?
I mean, not to take jabs at the prior staff, but I guess I'm going to. I mean, Huff stood on the other sideline in the Rock this year. He saw what we had and got a firsthand experience of how undisciplined and, quote, poorly coached we were. He saw it firsthand, and so he came in and I think and made a very deliberate point about we're not just going to say those things, like we will eat, sleep, and breathe those things. And so I'm excited about that. I think he's dead on. I mean, what he said about you want to be a good football player, but you don't want to go to class. I think that's a very big deal. Obviously,
it sounded very old school.
Yeah.
I mean, well, but also but he would follow that up with like, and things have changed. Like he's like, I'm old school, but football has changed. The way we do things have changed, recruiting wise, and all that. And here's what we're gonna do. Just laid it out. Right.
And I loved his willingness to obviously the landscape has changed. We're no longer in the 90s. And what we did to be successful then is not going to work today. So we can still take that gritty and that work ethic and all of that, but it also is a different path and a whole different set of challenges to be successful in today's college football world. So for him to see that and say, we're going to do those things, or we're going to take the steps, that things was just, I was just impressed after impressed after impressed, which I know those things, he wants to say all the right things. But I don't know. I just have an inkling inside of me that just says that he means business, and I don't think those were just words on the stage.
Yeah, I think that you hit it on the head there, because it's hard to leave a presser. It's kind of like watching highlights of a kid that you just recruited.
Yeah,
you're like, wow, look at this guy. But it's like everything good that he's ever done, right?
Sure.
You don't see in basketball like the behind the back pass that went to the sideline or something. Mm-hmm. You just see the alley-oop dunk. So from a coach's perspective, I mean, he's been through this before. They know how to get up there. It's what they do. But he did. It was a little bit more stern. It was a little bit more like, you know what? I hadn't even been here, and I'm tired of the way y'all been playing. Right?
It was like he was kind of pissed off about it.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I mean, how long did we say we needed this as the season progressed and continued to go worse? And I mean, I think we've also said tonight already that we felt like we were doing things opposite. Well, that was pretty opposite of what we've experienced. So accountability and discipline. We saw how undisciplined we were. How many third down penalties did we commit game after game after game in year 4? And so I hope that, let me turn my ESPN alerts off here. That
I thought we just scored or something.
Somebody did. I think is it college football awards thing? I thought I saw something about Travis Hunter in Colorado. I don't know. Not really worried about that.
So 3 things to be successful.
Yeah.
Coach Huff mentioned these 3 things at the presser. And unless I wrote them down wrong, this is what he said. So number 1 is committed to the process, right? Number 2 is the alignment. Number 3 is the action. Okay, so those are kind of our marching orders moving forward, not only from a football player and coach standpoint, but I think from a fan base standpoint as well, right? So the whole pulling the rope in the same direction, we've heard that 100 times, but it does seem like there's a little bit more force behind it now. not just kind of asking, but like, hey, this is how we're going to do it. You're either with us
it's not
or
an
you're
option.
not.
Yeah. Yep.
So
you can do it our way, or there's the NCAA makes it pretty easy to go somewhere else if you're not if you're not interested.
That's a good point too, because it was something floating around out there on social where somebody had a conversation that they tweeted out, I think, where Coach Huff supposedly walked into the locker room or not there, or like the little meeting room, wherever him and Jeremy first addressed the team, and said, if I hadn't spoken to you already, then that means you should hit the portal.
Yeah.
And I don't think that could be any further from the truth. What we have found out since is that, maybe some truth to it. Like, so I think he said, if you want to hit the portal, you can. I don't want you to. I want you to stay. But if you stay, this is going to be the hardest thing that you've ever done. And the backside of that is you'll have the greatest reward you've ever had. But don't get me wrong, it's going to be the hardest thing that you've ever done. And I think that we have our guest just now.
Yeah, I'm going to play a little music, and then I'm going to add him in here. So here we go.
Okay, great.
All right.
You guys are going to love this guy.
Here we go.
There he is.
What's going on?
What's happening? So everybody watching right now, you can probably tell by looking at his name's up. So that's the cat's out of the bag. But, played football at Southern Miss from 2009 to 2012. In his career, he amassed over 1,200 receiving yards, over 900 rushing yards. Took 3 punts to the house, 2 kickoffs to the house. In his career, he averaged 11.2 yards per catch, 5.3 yards per rush. Played for 3 different coaches while at Southern Miss and is largely remembered for the show he put on versus Houston in that Conference USA championship game. He's now in the coaching world as offensive coordinator for Ocean Springs High School. Welcome to the show, Tracy Lampley.
Thank you, man.
Hey.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for agreeing to do this. For sure. So Tracy, this is a live episode, so it's possible that people will want to call in and ask you questions while we're going. Until then, we're just going to treat it like a normal podcast, normal interview. So first off, man, thanks for doing it. How are you, and what are you up to these days?
Man, I'm great, man. I have no complaints at all, man. Thank you for the introduction, man. I had to make sure you were talking about me.
I'm just glad I didn't get it totally wrong, because I got a baseball player's throwing arm wrong before. Introduced him as like a left-handed pitcher, and he was a right-handed pitcher. So I'm not the best at it, but no, it's hard to forget what all you did on the field for sure.
But no, I'm currently the offensive coordinator at Ocean Springs High School. I actually just finished up my 2nd season as the offensive coordinator, going into my 3rd season. Got no complaints at all, man. Been good to me. I like giving back to the community, like giving back to the kids, sharing my knowledge of the game, and always looking forward to helping the next guy achieve his goals.
Awesome. Well, obviously, like we said earlier, you put up a ton of stats at Southern Miss, and to this day, I still think you remain one of the fan favorites that played in the black and gold. Can you talk a little bit about kind of your time at Southern Miss and what it meant for you, and then what it's like being a Golden Eagle, once that time is kind of closed? Kind of talk a little bit about that as well.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It meant everything to me, man. Coach Doyle and his staff took a chance on a little kid from Waynesburg, Mississippi, and I want to give the fans a show and let them know that the hype I came in with was real. And every time they see me play, I want to give them a show and make sure they get their money worth and make sure the stands stay packed every time we had a home game, or if people could make to some road games. And it meant everything to me, man. A small town kid, that's all we knew was sports. So I was built up on that, and I live by it, and God blessed me with a gift, and I want to bless others to be able to see my gift and what God did for me.
Heck yeah. So what made you get into coaching?
I knew this is gonna sound crazy, but I knew in the 7th grade exactly what I wanted to do with my life. I know that's really to say. To be a coach, I wanted to be a football player, and I wanted I had aspiration of playing professional football, and be honest, I wanted to play 10 years in the
Yeah.
NFL and then retire and then get into coaching. So I had it kind of planned out, and everything went accordingly. But it is what it is. I didn't make it to the NFL, but like I say, I have no regrets, no complaints about it. I gave it everything I had when I was out there on the field, so I can look back and I can be at peace with my career.
PLo, there's a couple comments that have come in
Yeah.
for Lamp. If you want to go ahead and just read those out so he can see. Since Tracy's driving down the road right now, I'm not sure he can see all
Yeah.
of the comments.
Our good friend, the Wizard, said that Lamp is a Golden Eagle legend. Let's see, we had somebody say T Lamp still running all over UVA. That screenplay to secure the UVA win lives rent free in my head from Right Field Rugrats. And then I think
Oh,
you said,
my mom said
yeah,
you
your mom
jammed in
said
there.
I had a pic of him autographing a USM poster for your nephews as youngsters in Jackson. So I'm sure at
I remember that.
one of
Good
those
deal.
parties. So
I remember that. I remember that. Going to my senior year, I want to say we did a signing event in Jackson.
yep.
So Lamp, so it's talking about coaching. We have a new coach at
Right?
Southern Miss now. Coach Charles Huff came to Southern Miss by way of Marshall and a Sun Belt Conference championship. And you know how it is with these coaches; they've bounced and bounced and bounced. But um, I don't know if that's in your future or not. But if you stay in coaching long enough, I think you just kind of how it works, right? You end up bouncing from a lot of different jobs. But do you know Coach Huff?
I don't. I met him. He probably don't remember it. He was at Alabama when I met him, and we got a steal, guys. That's a diamond in the rough. A really, really great coach, and I appreciate Marshall for letting him come to us.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think their fans are gonna interact with us all the way until football season on Twitter. I think they are. I don't know. You have some that are happy, but I don't know how you let a coach like that leave. But give us your thoughts. I mean, I know you said that a diamond in the rough, but any other thoughts you want to say about the hire or how you feel so far?
I feel like that's a home run hire, man. You got to
same.
think about it. He been successful wherever he been, and he been under one of the greatest coaches to ever coach college football in Nick Saban. So you got to think he learned something along the way under Nick Saban that he can bring to us as a head coach that will be successful. And as you can
Right.
see, the guy is a winner. He won, turned Marshall around, won the conference, and to me, how you let that go?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't. And listening to him say today, I think that it's kind of been. I think he thought that it was going to happen, and they thought that it was going to happen several games ago,
Oh
right?
wow!
Um, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's like, okay, the year that you guys had in 11 with Fedora, and then if Fedora leaves and goes to an
like
in-conference
ULM
school,
or something,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
like I just that just I don't know, that's just wild to me.
Hey, Lamp, you watch. You still keep up with Southern Miss. I can tell by your Twitter and just knowing that you're just right down the road in Ocean Springs. But watching the games these days, what do you think has been missing with Southern Miss?
To me, just looking at it from a fan perspective, I think we kind of struck out at the quarterback position, and I think we kind of struck out at the offensive line position.
That's two pretty big
That's
strikeouts.
that's two pretty big ones, and I thought, we was good everywhere else. I thought we had what it took to win, but if you don't got the offensive line in place and you don't have a consistent quarterback in place, you're going to struggle.
Hmm.
You're
No
going to
doubt.
struggle. And I just thought that was the Achilles heel, for the last few years under Coach Hall. And, I know I wanted Coach Hall to be successful and I was rooting for him. And I hated it didn't turn out the way we thought. But hey, it is what it is. Time to move on. We're in a new
Yep.
era under Coach Huff, and I'm all on board.
No doubt.
I'm
Yeah, I
on
mean, I
board
think
with
that's
it.
a great example of, whether he was your guy or not, if you wanted somebody specifically, it is what it is. I don't know how you could sit through that press conference and not be fired up. I'm ready for football season to start tomorrow.
Exactly. You felt the intensity in his voice, man. And
Yep.
you know he is a winner. He come in like he said. I'm not coming to play. I'm coming to win.
Yes.
And that's setting the tone. And when
So,
you
so,
hear
so
that,
did you watch the presser on ESPN Plus?
I watched bits and pieces of it. I
Okay.
was at work, but I caught the first beginning of it, and I heard him speak for a minute. Then I got busy doing something at work, and I tried to go back and pull it up, and I
Yeah.
was gonna do it once I got home and got settled.
Sure.
But I heard
You
some of
you
it, and what I
you
heard was
on with
intense.
us idiots, and so you hadn't done it yet. But no. So we were talking before you hopped on that it sounded almost like he's kind of pissed off. Like he hadn't even been here, and he feels like he's got the attitude that I have as a fan. Like I'm tired of what the hell I'm watching on the field. I'm tired of seeing you guys get beat. I remember how awesome it used to be, and those days are over. It's a new day. Just the tone that he had,
Yes,
the way in which he went about it. Weird. I was like, yeah, let's roll.
yes.
You know.
Yeah.
I most definitely agree with that. It sounds like he pissed off for greatness, and that's the kind of leader you want to lead your program. He did. I'm sure he did his research, and he know what Southern Miss is all about. It's a blue collar program, and you can win. That's been proven. And like I say, he is one of the top recruiters out here. Um, in the country. And so we just got to give him all the resources he need. And I want to shout out to the collectors out there that if you can support it,
Hmm.
please support it because this guy's going to put a good staff together. And if he can do that with the resources, he can bring in some top notch players and what we all want to see.
Yeah. And speaking of that, obviously in this era of the portal and NIL, um, should Southern Miss fans kind of expect a quick return to excellence? You think it's going to happen quickly?
I mean, it can happen quickly if you get some good guys in the portal, but if it don't panic because you
Yeah.
got a guy that can recruit. Don't panic. You know, he gonna turn things around. You gotta give him a chance. We gotta be on board. We gotta support. We gotta get behind it. Instead of sit on Twitter, social media, and complain about it, let's get behind and support it. Let's fill these stands up because players tend to play a little harder when the stands are packed. I've been there before.
Yes. Hey, there's been a lot of chatter lately among the Southern Miss fan. Well, when you're losing, just everything down to the how many pairs of
The
socks you
bathrooms.
have, and the bathrooms, and the snack bars, and everything is scrutinized to like the millionth degree. But what were maybe some of the advantages and maybe some of the disadvantages you felt like you had while at Southern Miss?
Well, some I just think we was like I said, we was built off a blue collar program. Like we didn't have all the flashy stuff, but we had hard work and grit, and that's what it takes to win. So
Hmm.
whatever we had, we was appreciative of it, and we made it work. And I think we got to get back to that. You know what I'm saying? Just make it work, whatever you get. And
Mhm.
nowadays, you're getting a whole lot stuff. Now with the NIL stuff, now that's in place for you, you should want to play hard. You should be want to master your craft. It's a great head start in life to be in college making whatever these guys making at these G5 schools and Power Five schools. You got to think about it. You got a kid, some kids making $1 million.
Isn't that crazy?
Hey man, I mean, it's a new area, and you gotta adapt and adjust to it. You know, I'm not
Yes.
against it. I mean, those guys now can afford for their families to come see them play, and that's what it's all about.
Hmm.
That's a great point. I mean, how do you feel that it would have worked out for you if NIL would have been around back in your
Yeah, I don't
day?
know what kind of car you're driving now, but would it have been like three times the car if Tracy Lansley was getting NIL money?
You most definitely. But the important thing these guys need to do, they need to take care of their money. Be smart with it. You know, don't go
Sure.
crazy. You know, it's okay to buy you something nice, but also in the end, go respect it. Respect the money that you bring in. It'll teach you a life lesson. So you don't want to go crazy, and then you lose your money, then you lose your mind because you can't get it back. So you gotta find some balance in between there. Now it's okay to buy you something, but also save some too for the long run.
No doubt.
So you got into the coaching world pretty quickly after college. I know that you made a couple of stops along the way. Hines Community College being one of those stops, and now the offensive coordinator at Ocean Springs High School.
Yes. Yeah, so I
What
spent two
go
years
ahead.
at Hines Community College. It was a great experience. Something that a short term goal of mine was to coach on the college level and see what that's like, and I really enjoyed it. Then I had the opportunity to come back to the high school level, and now work my way. Now I'm the offensive coordinator here, and my long term goal now is to be a head football coach. One day in the future, and I think that's gonna come. But if not, I'm gonna bloom as an offensive coordinator in the meantime.
I was gonna ask while you're saying that, I was thinking to myself, like, where is Tracy Lampley in 5 years? Where is Tracy Lampley in 10 years? Because I'm listening to a lot of what you're saying, and I'm like, we need this dude on campus like yesterday.
Yes, I'm gonna try to be around as much as I can. Kind of be a voice. Like I said, I want Coach Huff and his staff to have an open door policy to former players. Get that back going, and so the current players can see once you finish this place, you still welcome back to come back, and it's home forever. And I think more former players need to come back and be able to speak and talk to the team and tell them what it means to be a Southern Miss Golden Eagle.
Absolutely. So, kind of talking about now at Ocean Springs, kind of talk a little bit about the offense that you run, kind of your style, and kind of what you guys do at Ocean Springs.
Yeah, you got
It's
some
good.
Fedora stuff going on there. You got any DeAndre Browns we need to recruit, or
Yeah, we try to be balanced. We try to be a spread type of offense. More modern day type of offense nowadays. Everybody want to touch the football, and you only have one. So now you got to try to spread it around. A lot of RPO in there, and some duo type runs and power read type runs and stuff like that. So we try to be balanced and tailor our game to what these kids are seeing on TV, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
They watching all these games now, so we want to be able to relate to them and be able to let them express themselves about having fun and creating a system that everybody want to play in, that kids want to be a part of. And so we like to say we're spread offense, we balance, try to be balanced in the run and the pass to keep the defense honest.
excuse me. Talking about offenses, and I know this era is over, but it was one of my favorite things that we've done. It was out of necessity, really. But the super back,
Uh
what would Tracy Lampley have looked like as a super back?
huh.
Is that
Oh
like your
man,
dream come true, or would you rather not do that? I mean, how would you feel about that?
I rather not live in it. I think it's a kind of like a little set that you go to switch the flow of the game up. Because once you go to that, you kind of become one dimensional for real. You banking on the
Yeah.
defense to make a mistake. If you try to throw a pop pass, you want them to sell out on the run because you get in that. That's you telling them this is a run heavy type package, and you want them to sell out on the stop it. So you don't want to get too one dimensional on it. I wouldn't want to live in it as a player. I think we
Yeah.
should jump in and switch the flow of the game up, then jump back into what we do every day.
hmm Now, did you play? Did you play for three different coaches at Southern Miss, or just two?
Just two, just two.
Okay.
I played for Doyle for the first 3 years,
Uh
and then
huh.
he ended up leaving, going into my senior year,
Yeah, we don't
and
have to
then
talk about that last year. We don't have to just you can just stop right there. Yeah.
just out right
Um,
there, huh?
yeah. But what did you take away from just from the coaches that you had, and do you use any of that stuff today?
Yes, I still use some of the stuff that we did under Fedora because it makes sense. Still makes sense in today's time. And these kids, and the players now that we have, they tailor made for it. You got a lot of fast, twitchy guys like myself when I played in the offense, and you don't want to try to reinvent the wheel. You just want to spray some All on it and keep this thing going. That's it.
So here's the question everybody wants to know: is would the 2012 team have beaten the 2024 team?
The 2011 team,
No, the
No, the
2012 team.
2012 team.
the
Would you
2012
guys
team,
have beaten the 2024 team?
it probably been a tight game.
I don't think so. I
No,
don't think so. I think
no,
you
I
no. I
guys
don't.
run
I
I
think
away
y'all
think
would
with
have
it.
killed them.
Yeah.
I think jokingly, we would have won because we had some ball players on that
Yeah,
team. We had
there
some
was
ball
some.
players on that team. We kind of got hit with the injury bug for real during that season, but we had enough ball players on there to win.
I agree.
No doubt. Well, Tracy, this is the part of the episode, and I think we've already kept you longer than we intended to, but it's been going so good. Do you got a few more minutes? There's a quick hitter section that we have, just some random questions we've thrown in here. Some of them are fun, some of them are goofy. And Patrick's going to hit the music for it, and we'll take you through this, and we'll get a Southern Miss to the top, and we'll let you go, and we'll finish out the show. But Patrick, you going to go ahead and hit that music?
Yeah, we'll get it rolling.
There we are.
Little music. So yeah, it can be a one-word answer. It can be a couple sentences, whatever. Favorite player growing up? Oh no, did we lose him? Oh, there we go. Did you get that? So tell us your favorite player growing up.
Oh man, that's a good question. I have a lot.
Rattle them off.
This is your time.
You got Barry Sanders. You got Emmitt Smith. You got Reggie Bush. You got Deion Sanders. You got Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, Troy Aikman, Michael Vick.
He's going deep.
I'm going deep. Michael Vick.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Reggie White, Brett Favre.
Back when football was football. That's what I'm talking about.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Ooh.
He had another receiver on that team with them too, and Quan Bolden.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
Ooh. Steve Smith is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
Well, you talk about some attitude. We need some guys like that.
Shannon Sharp as a tight end.
Okay.
I enjoyed watching him play. What's the running back name? Rod Davis? Terrell Davis.
Terrell Davis.
Yeah.
Rob is a Southern Miss great.
Ray Lewis, Dallas Thomas.
There you go.
Oh man, a lot. The linebacker that played for the New York Jets, Michael Boley.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Giants.
Yes.
Stud.
Love it. Go ahead, Jason.
When was the last time that you were in Hattiesburg?
I mean, I was there for the Marshall game.
Oh.
Okay.
Brought my family up. We was at the Marshall game, and
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's all good, man. It was an opportunity for me to get out the house with the family, and we came up and watched Southern Miss football, man. No matter how it looked right now, we still got to support.
No doubt.
Let's see. Favorite memory from on the field in your time in college?
Whoa, the best one got to be my first punt return at home versus Memphis.
Love it.
I still think that's the scariest position in football.
Me too. The punt return. I would be the guy just doing the fair catch and running the other way, just deking them. You know,
it can be. You gotta be brave. You gotta be brave.
No doubt. Do you have a funny fedora story, or do you do a fedora impression?
I don't do an impression, man. It's so many funny stories, man.
Hit me.
Oh man. What did he say at one time? Oh yeah. We was getting ready for the conference championship game, and we was headed back to the hotel, and we was on the bus, and the bus had the TVs on there and had it on Sports Center, and our game came up, and they was picking like the winners of the game, and everybody on the stand up there, they picked against us.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at everybody and said, "They don't know." I can't say the rest of it. Can't say the rest of the stuff that he said, but that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
Fantastic.
That was pretty funny.
How cool was Hawaii?
Man, it was a great experience, man. One of the best places I done visit in my life. You know, I want to go again. One day I'm gonna go and take my family. You know, this a cool experience to see the Pearl Harbor out there. You know, a little kid from Waynesburg, Mississippi, got a chance to stand on the Pearl Harbor.
No doubt.
Learn about that. So that was very cool, man. Then the weather, just impeccable.
Yeah.
As a follow-up to that, there's still chatter on this to this day. People blame Fedora for not going to Dallas to play Penn State. So, as a player, what would you have rather done? Because I've talked to so many players that said Hawaii was like the best time of my life. I loved it. But looking back on it, do you wish you would have done the other? Or
I mean, it's kind of hard to say because you went to Hawaii and it was a good time. You got to spend a whole week there. But looking back now, you know, some of the seniors, maybe they last time ever playing and they people really couldn't afford to make that trip. And you look back and say, man, if we went to Dallas, we would have had more fans. You know what I mean? So I can look at it and from both perspectives, but at the end of the day, it was a great experience. And also, if we took the Dallas Bowl, you could have closed it out in fashion with more fans in the stands.
Yeah, maybe so.
So, I mean, depends on who you asking. Man, I was a junior, so I had another year, so it really didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, what do you think Coach Huff's nickname will be?
Ooh.
Huffbird.
Huffberg, I like it. See,
Huffbird.
This is a touchy subject right now, but I would love to go with Huff Daddy.
Hey, that's a good one, man. That's a good one too.
It's just Puff Daddy's going through a situation.
That's probably not a good time to use that.
Probably not a good one to use.
So I don't know.
Probably not a good one to use right now.
I don't. How about this? City life or country life?
Most definitely city life.
Gotcha.
Most definitely.
Break down the wheel route play when you scored versus Houston with the ball fake from AD.
Okay, cool. Basically, if it was zone, I just had to run a little wheel not a wheel, but a swing route to the sideline. But if it was man, then I had the opportunity, I had the versatility to wheel it up the sideline. And they jumped into man coverage, and he thought I was just going to swing to the sideline, as you can see. And when I wheeled it up, the linebacker kind of like, oh, Lord, he gone. And AD, I wasn't even the first read on the play. AD was looking over to, who that was at receiver? I think that was Ryan Ballantyne, I think.
Maybe.
Okay, yeah.
So if it was zone, he would have slid down and threw it to him. So when he seen it was man, that's when you see AD come off of it and come to me on the wheel route. So it all worked out, and AD already knew. And I preaching that read told me that was in man coverage because the cornerback gave it away.
Ooh,
he was walked down into the receiver face, and so I knew it was man coverage.
We need to have Tracy Lampley on after every game, breaking down
for us. Yeah,
man, we can do it. We can make it happen.
I love that.
A couple more, Trace, and we'll get you out of here. How many games does Southern Miss win next year?
Man, can I come back to that question? Let me see who all he bring in with him through the portal.
Sure.
Yep.
But I would set the tone for him. If he bring a lot of guys in the portal with him, I can see us winning 7 to 8 games.
Bring it.
Love it.
Hey, and
hey,
and PLo, I'll let you get to yours, but just to follow up to that real quick, how cool is it going to be, Tracy, if we can start off next year 2-0? I know you go 1-0, but that's first game versus Mississippi State, second game versus Jackson State.
Hey, listen, we was talking today, the quarterback coach we have, and he said he already feel like that's a trap game for Mississippi State coming into the hub city. I said, you know what? You're absolutely right because the vibe is set. And I said, people are excited about what we just did with Coach Huff. And he set the tone in his press conference. And it's going to be packed, and people are going to come out.
Well, one thing, too, I'm pretty excited about is I don't think our team is going to come out flat.
No, sir, not at all.
They have zero choice in the matter.
I'm excited, and I can't even play no more.
Me too. I could never play.
Yeah, I was about to say, and I never played. So last question we asked this to a lot of our guests. If you had to keep only 3 apps on your phone, what 3 are you keeping? Everything else has to go. And it has to be downloaded apps on your phone. So now, like, you get to keep, like, text and your phone call and your camera.
Yeah, gotcha.
But anything, what 3 apps are you keeping?
Okay. The Bible app, I got to keep that one.
Love it.
I got to keep Twitter because it's entertaining. Then I got to keep PayPal for my wife.
Hey, that's great. I mean, it's such a good question. I love that.
It is.
That is very good stuff. Tracy, man, thank you so much for hopping on. You're still working and on your drive home joined us. And so we really appreciate that, man. You're one of the you're a fan favorite. You remain that way. You're one of the best Golden Eagles of all time. Thank you for doing what you did on the field. Thank you for taking the time tonight. I enjoyed that conversation very much. And we always end every interview the same way. So Southern Miss
to the top.
Love it.
Awesome. And one thing too, Tracy, you're welcome back anytime.
Yes.
Anytime you want to come, shoot us a DM and you're on. So
man, I gotta give y'all my number, man. Y'all can have my.
We'll do that.
Number.
Yeah, we'll get you on. Yeah, just shoot that to us and we'll definitely do it.
You can give it out right now to the world.
It doesn't go out.
All right, you can shut her down, and we'll go ahead and we'll finish it out. And thank you so much.
Man, appreciate y'all. It's a pleasure.
Thanks, Lamp.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Can we get that guy as a coach on this year's staff?
I know.
Gosh.
There is some solid players from that team, that 11 team that are in the coaching world that I would love having back on campus.
Man. The best. Special thanks to Tracy Lamp. I hope everybody enjoyed that. That was I don't know if that was more fun for us or for the listeners.
It was great for me. One thing that I did want to, this right field Rugrats is on a tear tonight in the comments.
Hit it, yeah. Catch us up on some comments.
He said a nickname for Huff, Hardy Street Huff. I love that. I think that's got some traction. Yeah, I mean, everybody, Bill Broadhead chimed in and said all on board when we were talking about
Brother Bill.
Saying everybody going the right direction.
Brother Bill, I appreciate Bill jumping on. Hope everything is going well in your world, man.
Let's see what else. Fantastic interview. Want him back at USM. Dominique Sullivan, just took the job with Coach Pollard at JCJC.
Another one of my favorite interviews of all time was Dominique Sullivan.
Really?
And yeah, he
was a great player. He scored a touchdown in that championship game.
He did a long one. Yeah. Ran. Like I think when we interviewed him, I want to say he was talking about he was looking up at himself like on the jumbo, running away from people. That's got to be a good feeling,
Yeah, I've never experienced that.
No, me neither. I'm like, oh, they caught me on my phone at the game instead of cheering. That's what I get.
Yeah.
But boy, that was some good stuff by Tracy. I thought that we would maybe just tie a bow on the Coach Huff thing and just I guess going for everything that Tracy said, the things that we heard today, and I have a tweet here from Southern Miss football mentioning the Huff resume. So if we just want to run back through that all the way back in 2006, he was at Tennessee State. 2009 at Maryland, 2010 at Hampton, 2011 at Vanderbilt, 2012 with the Buffalo Bills, 2013 Western Michigan, 14 through 17 with Penn State. He did coach at Mississippi State in 2018, Alabama 19 and 20, and he's been at Marshall 21 through 24. So that's, and I have heard some people say, well, he's moved around so much. Why you want a guy like that? This is what every coach's resume looks like. Every damn one of them. It's whenever you hire somebody, this is exactly what they look like. But you can see through that process how the school started to get a little bigger, how the job started to get a little bit more entailed. Some of the people that he was working under started to get super high profile, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And then his last one was within the conference at a school and at a town that's kind of like Hattiesburg in Huntington, West Virginia, at a school that's kind of where we want to be. And right when he leaves, he takes them to a championship. I mean, good gosh almighty. I don't know how you could have a better resume coming in, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's impressive. I mean, you get that Saban feel and intensity, and I think he's going to run things very much that way. I know a lot of us have already heard that already, but to me, that is such a breath of fresh air into the program. Energy, intensity, And again, I mean, just like I said earlier, I feel like our team will not blink at all that Mississippi State is walking into the Rock the first game. But they're going to be ready to go. And
I'm fired up. I think it's actually gotten me back to wanting to tailgate.
yeah.
I went from I can't believe there's going to be a day on this earth that I don't tailgate for a game to I ain't going back.
Yep.
You know,
Hey,
to
check
now
this
I'm
out.
like, you know what? Maybe.
Check that comment out.
Love it. And I believe that's our
The
good
collective's
friend.
chiming in. Yeah.
Good friend Peter.
Yep.
Boy, he's got to be a busy guy these days.
Yeah, I would hope that his phone is ringing a lot since we have kind of broke the news and or the news has broken, and I hope it continues to ring every day.
Yeah, and just here in the near future, we will be doing a little bit of work for the collective, just helping out,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Doing what we can, interviewing a bunch of current players that'll end up going behind that paywall the collective has set up. And it's cheap. You know, you can get in. The only way you're going to be able to get that footage is to be a part of that. So you can go to the topcollective.com, I guess. Is that it?
Yep.
And sign up. You can get in as little as $17 a month with the monthly payment, but the paywall thing is super cheap. You probably won't ever even notice that it's coming out of your account. So, but Peter's doing a fantastic job over there, and that's the way of the future. Whether you like it or not, it really doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter anymore. It's one of the ways that we got Charles Huff, right?
Yeah.
Marshall, I don't think believes in it. We do. Okay. And we have a guy like Peter, thank the Lord, that is a super smart guy that's running it. So,
well, again, yeah, I mean, I think it's just like Coach Huff said today. I think it comes back to his second pillar about alignment, and he knew and identified really quickly in the alignment from the top with Joe Paul to Jeremy, and then funneling down to him, and he knows that we are believers in that, and we are invested in that, and I think it's one of the things, like we said, that got him here.
So if anybody wants to chime in on what you heard from Tracy or your thoughts on the presser from today.
One comment we did get from the Wizards said, you think Houston players still have nightmares about him? About Lamp?
Well, yes. And I think that Case Keenum still has nightmares about Cordero Law just throwing his ass around. I mean, like a rag doll.
Yeah.
That's what it would look like if I got tackled.
You imagine
Cordero Law go flying like out of the TV screen, right?
Cordero Law and Jamie Collins just wanting to rip your head off.
That's got to be intimidating.
60 minutes. Yeah. Insane.
Yeah. But yeah, so
if anybody wants to chime in, now is the time. So
we can get into some basketball if you guys really want.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk
not
about
going.
it. Don't want to talk about it. I'm on a high right now.
Not going
down. Don't take me down.
Yeah, follow up the Tracy Lampley interview with having to talk about getting our ass kicked by Tulane. So
yeah, we would love to hear from somebody. So
please go ahead and pick up that. Well, however you do it.
One of you burners, go ahead and chime in
and explain that to them one more time, PLo, and how to do it. If they're just now listening,
if you're just now getting in, make sure you go over if you're on like Facebook or YouTube or even just on the Twitter live. You need to go over to the Twitter Space. It's a separate thing you'll see on our account, and jump into that room and then request to go live, and we will throw you on. Speaking of, here we go.
Oh, good deal.
Let's see if this works. First try. Go ahead.
What's up, boys?
Hey, the wizard.
Still get those pipes all the way from North Carolina. How many whiskeys are you in right now, Wizard?
I actually do not have a glass of whiskey in my hand right now, but I was thinking about going upstairs to get one.
Okay.
I'm being lazy. I've been melted into the couch listening to you boys talk for a while.
Sweet. What is on the menu? If you had to pick.
Whiskey wise?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, let's walk upstairs.
Okay. Let's do it. This
Hey,
is live.
hey, while you're walking, Wizard, if you can,
Yeah.
I'm sure you watched the presser. I'm sure you have some thoughts on Charles Huff. So go ahead, and while you're looking through what you're going to sip for the majority of your answer, what are your thoughts on Coach Huff?
Man, well, you know, the Marshall fans have convinced me that he's a terrible coach and a horrible human being, and we shouldn't have anything to do with him. And he's bad at coaching football, even though he won those morons a conference championship this past weekend. So, man, I mean, he said all the right things. He seems serious. He seems like kind of a no bullshit kind of guy.
Yeah.
A bit of a change from the, you know, everybody's friend, buddy next door, good old country boy we've had for a while. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the opposite end of that spectrum does.
Well said.
No doubt. And he, so he's kind of come in, and you said like he was no nonsense and just no bullshit kind of guy, but that sternness, has that strike a chord with you, Shane? Like, because it did with me when we've been to a lot of these pressers, right? We've been, I don't know how many I've been to through the years, especially since we've been doing this podcast, more than we probably should have. But they always kind of say all the right things, except for that one moron in 2012. But for the most part, it's kind of just right from the playbook, right? Today, it seemed like it was from that playbook, but there was like an attitude behind it, and I kind of dig it. So does that make any sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he seemed a little pissed off. Like,
yeah.
Like,
it's been affecting him that we've been so bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I played you guys, and I was pissed off that you were playing so bad against us.
Yeah. I mean, but isn't that what our program needs right now? It needs somebody that's you know, upset about the way things are gone to come in and just kind of turn it on its head and completely change things and get us back on the right track. And obviously, I mean, the man won our conference this past weekend. He is capable of doing it. There's no question about that. And that's kind of what's unique about this coaching hire compared to, you know, every other hire in our past, because we've never hired a sitting FBS head coach, let alone one that just won the conference that we participate in. So there's no question about the man's ability to get the job done. He literally just proved it. So, I mean, what's holding us back? If Huff can't get us righted, we just need to bulldoze the rock and focus on baseball.
Soccer at the Rock.
Stop.
Hey, speaking of soccer, Marshall's awesome at soccer. If we have to go that
They
route,
are awesome at soccer.
maybe Coach Huff can coach soccer.
And look, all Marshall fans are not terrible. The guys that came down to the Marshall game that, you know, we knew from Twitter already, the little Sunbelt, you know, group that we're in, those guys are in there. They're cool guys, fantastic moonshine, good dudes. But there's been a portion of their fan base that's on Twitter that can't do math, doesn't read very well, and hates a coach that just won him a conference championship because he was interviewing for other jobs. And I think finally what it's boiled down to is I've seen myself and a few other guys be like, we don't want him to be here in 4 years. If he's here in 4 years, he didn't accomplish what we want him to do. Look, and I mean, don't take me wrong. If we're winning football games and going to bowl games and competing for conference championships and he's still here in 4 years, then great. But I don't think that's Huff's goal in this. I think he wants to move up, and I welcome that attitude.
Yeah.
No, I do too. It's
if he's interviewing at another place and we're going to bowl games, yeah,
more power to you. Do you need a ride to the interview?
It does kind of seem like Marshall's going down that road that we fell victim to around the time that Tracy, you know, his career was coming to an end.
Yeah.
where I felt like a bulk of the fan base kind of thought, and maybe I was even in that portion of the fan base, but that you should want to come here. This is a special place. And remember, all those that rhetoric was out there, right? Not that I don't believe that to a certain degree still, but I mean, everything's changed so much that you have to adapt, or you're going to get run the hell over. And we've been doing the latter.
Well, look, kids that are graduating high school now, that are the high school recruiting class, even though recruiting classes are mostly made of a JUCO and portal players these days, it seems. Those guys were like 5 years old the last time we won a conference championship. So,
yeah,
I mean,
you're right.
We do have the history, but guys our age forget how long ago that's been. The days fly by faster every day. So we have the history, but we don't have the recent history of success to kind of lean on. And hopefully that all changes, because we're too proud of a program. We're too proud of a fan base to continue down the road that the last decade of Golden Eagle football for the most part's been.
For sure.
Absolutely. So, Wizard, have you decided on a whiskey of choice for the night?
Well, I couldn't decide on one, so I poured two.
Okay.
Classic.
My guy.
Both of them are Wild Turkey. I'm a big Wild Turkey stan, but both of them are special Wild Turkey.
And that Wild Turkey can get way up here in the proof.
Yeah, these aren't crazy. Well, I guess the first one is 120 proof.
Holy smokes! I'm more of like a 90
the
guy.
Other one, yeah. I kind of like the 100 to 115 range. Mm-hmm. Once you get above 120, then it's a little hot. The other one's 104 proof. The second one's 104, and that's right in my wheelhouse. 120 is a little bit out of my comfort zone, but that one is Russell's Reserve Wild Turkey's premium line. Has done a single rickhouse series, meaning all of the barrels in the batch came from one of their warehouses specifically.
Sweet.
And this is their latest release in that series. It's single rickhouse Camp Nelson B. And so they took a bunch of barrels that were aged on the 6th floor of their B warehouse on their Camp Nelson campus and blended them together. And it's a damn fine whiskey. I opened it Tuesday night at a buddy's birthday get together in his backyard. A bunch of us whiskey dorks got together and brought some good bottles and smoked some Cuban cigars and drank good whiskey. So opened that the other night, but I had been smoking cigars and drinking other whiskey. This is the first taste of it I've had when my palate is fresh. And then the second one, I just thought it was fitting. I sat down, I poured the Russell's single rickhouse at my desk, and then I looked up on the shelf, and the latest release in the Wild Turkey's Master Keep series, which is an annual series they do, is called Wild Turkey Triumph. And I was like, you know what? Today is a day for Triumph. That just seemed fitting. I needed a glass of that as well.
I love it.
I don't know if you're employed by anybody who manufactures whiskey, but
me?
Yes, but you should be.
No, that doesn't pay enough. I would love to. I mean, I did a stint for Southern Prohibition before we moved here. I like craft beer too. But that's a young man's game.
Did you get to did you get to go to SoPro while you were back? Because since the time that you left till what SoPro has kind of turned into is an incredible turnaround.
I didn't make it down there, and I need to on the next trip because I'm a huge Jeremy Nofke fan, and I need to eat some of his food. I haven't been to Big Trouble yet either. I've heard good things about Big Trouble.
It's so good.
But I did run into Quimby, and yeah, I've heard good things. All the pictures that I see look excellent. I ran into Quimby and Ben at Grateful Soul Friday for catfish because that is I leave. My best friend from college, Dan Williams, lives down in Covington with his family, and we stay with them. We normally fly in on a Wednesday night, hang out in New Orleans, take the kid to the aquarium, go eat. We went to Cochon Butcher, then swung by Urban South's tap room, had a couple beers, and then continued on to Covington, stayed with them. And I leave their house and make my daughter quit hanging out with his kids and playing with them in time to get to Grateful Soul for lunch, because I need Grateful Soul catfish in my life, and I only get it one time a year.
I've eaten that with you one time.
Another fantastic Golden Eagle. So Grant Ford is such a Hattiesburg and Southern Miss fan that named his child Hardy.
Yeah, man. Grant and Carmen are awesome people and killer food down there. I miss it. Miss them. Swung in and saw them. Grant has a brother that lives up here in the Raleigh area, actually, who texted me earlier today. Surprisingly, not about Southern Miss stuff, but it was a work question. But yeah, it's the Southern Miss folks are spread far and wide. You can find us popping up everywhere.
Good stuff. Wizard Man, we appreciate you. If anybody else wants to call in, you can go ahead and do that. If not, we're probably going to shut her down pretty quick. This has been a good show tonight. Lampley was fantastic. It's
absolute legend.
He's so good. And he even agreed to come on last night and tonight. So last night was my birthday, and I did not realize that my wife had made plans for us to go to Murky Waters, which is another fantastic Hattiesburg restaurant.
Yeah.
So Wednesday night is wing night. It's like 85-cent wings and $10 pitchers. Yes.
Okay.
And I mean, she was like, well, I said, look, we're doing the podcast tonight. And she was like, well, we're going to Murky Waters. I was like, oh. So let me call Lamp. Right. And he was like, no problem. So he's cool. He's good. He's just, I mean, when you listen to Lamp say things, he sounds like one of us, the passion that we would have as a fan if we were to ever get a job at Southern Miss, right? But he also has the expertise. So that's one of the guys that I hope at some point might find his way to the sidelines of Southern Miss, because we need guys like that. We need and Coach Sullivan and Terrence Pope, and we need all of those people. So hopefully before long we can start getting a lot of those guys back.
Yeah, happy for Sully getting on Pollard's staff there. That's cool to have Golden Eagles hiring Golden Eagles. No
doubt. Yes, it could not have been. So I'm going to give it a little behind the scenes of it says something of my technological prowess, especially back in the day when the podcast was first starting off. It was just me and Jamie, and I was like, hey, I've got Dominique Sullivan. He wants to do an interview. And Jamie was like, Jamie never gave me any instruction or anything. He was just like, good.
Yeah, cool, do it.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, well, how? So but anyway, so I interviewed, and this was not my first interview, but it was probably within the first 10 or so. And the technology's come a long way now where you can't mess it up now. Back then you could. So here's what Sullivan did. I interviewed him, and I have an outline, right, that I kind of go by. I interviewed him, and we got done, and I went to go save it, and it was not there. And that is a bad, bad feeling. So I called Jamie, and he came over, and he was like, nope, you didn't record it. So I went for like a 2-mile run to clear my head. And then I got back, and I called Dominique, and I said, hey, man, great job on the interview.
First of all,
we got to do it again. And he was like, no problem. Right? So
was it better the second time?
I don't know.
Nobody will know.
I think I kind of asked him, like, hey, man, can you have like the same amount of, reaction when I asked this exact same question again? But no, he was great at it. He was a trooper. It's happened a few different times. I'm missing all the times it's happened. But
was it Sut that we did that for an entire episode?
No, it was
did a killer episode.
It was B.A. Volmuth.
It was Balmuth. Yeah, I mean, it was a great episode. We get done, no recording of the entire thing. Had to start from scratch. And I mean, you got that really good organic conversation that happens. And, like Jason just said, legitimate reactions to things. And then you got to go back and have that conversation a second time.
Yeah. And he's another guy that just went with it that night. I remember his exact awesome. Response was when Jamie said, "Hey guys," it was probably 30 minutes into it. He was like, "We are not recording." And BA said, "I'm up for a doubleheader." Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm on like whiskey number 3, but anyway.
So this was a good comment here. How do you call in? So the best way, I see that you're on Twitter. You need to jump out of the live and jump into the Twitter space.
How do they do that?
If they leave the live and then just go back to our account, or if they just go back to their home, they'll see a little pink bubble, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, at the top.
Yeah.
I think it's blue.
Okay, so the pink one is the pink one is the live. The purplish bluish color is the space. So you'll need to join the space. And then once you get in there, you can just request to speak, essentially. But it has to be in the Twitter space. It looks like the majority of the folks we have on are in the live. Mm-hmm. The live, you can see the video. In the space, it is just audio only, but you do have the ability to speak.
See, I'm glad you explained all that.
Yeah.
I'll jump out and let somebody else jump in since they want to talk. But good talking to you boys.
Dude, always a good time.
Yeah, Wizard, thank you so much.
There's hope again in the land of Southern Miss football, and it feels good.
You're right. Out. Well said. Thanks, buddy.
Later, boys.
Thanks,
Southern
Wizard.
Miss to the top.
To the top. Always good to hear from the Wizard. So for you guys that may have just jumped in and you're like, who the hell's a Wizard? Well, this show's been going for a while. It's our ninth year?
Rolling into it, yeah.
Okay, so it's been going for quite a while. We've had some different people on. Jamie started it off. I joined in very soon after that. We went for a few years. Then Shane joined us for 3 years or so. And that was Shane. He used to live in Hattiesburg. Now he lives in North Carolina. An aficionado of Southern Miss sports, whiskey. I'm sure Shane could, if I asked him, like, hey, man, how do you play bocce or something? Shane, you know what Shane's like? Shane's a little bit like Cliff Clavin from Cheers. I'm going to show my age a little bit, but Cliff Clavin from Cheers, right? Everybody remember him? Where he's just like, he would have these crazy stats about everything in life at the bar there at Cheers. So Shane is one of those kind of guys, very knowledgeable. But it sounds like there's another caller on the line.
We do have another speaker. If you'll unmute, and then you should be good to go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Awesome, guys. That was a great interview with Lamp. Got to spend some time with him when he was up here for that Marshall game. And, yeah, he's great for the fan base and great supporter. And, I just wanted to touch in. Appreciate you guys and everything that you do, and just kind of reiterate, where we're at with things. Got to meet with Coach Huff. We met first thing Monday morning before he left, had to go. So he got here Sunday, and then we met first thing Monday morning, and then he flew out Monday for the coaches conference out in Vegas and got back, I think, last night or this morning from that. But it was a great meeting. Really, really enjoy his demeanor, his process, the way he goes about things when it comes to this new landscape that we speak of when it comes to NIL and how he manages it. It's been really refreshing working with him and his grasp of it. One thing I think, that he was just tickled with, I told him we raised, we got a bunch of new members. I think it was around 15 on Sunday, in between Sunday and Monday. And those members annualized over 12 months is going to be around a little over $10,000. We had quite a few VIP members join, which is the $150 a month level. which I was really, really happy to see. And being able to tell him that, and he literally just kind of put his head down and kind of chuckled and laughed in a way of just like, because when I said, yeah, we made, almost $10,000 yesterday. And when the news was announced, he was like, what do you mean? He was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, we got a collective that has members and people give monthly. And he was tickled by it. And so he knew that we had structure. He knew that we had an alignment from the administration, working with Jeremy and the athletic department has been extremely beneficial in this whole process, preparing for and adapting for what is next with college athletics. But it's nice knowing that we're going to be investing in things that we know, like Braylon Braxton, the quarterback and quarterback and company. They're all going to be here next weekend on a visit in Hattiesburg. So
for the hot
there's
air
about
balloons.
20 of them coming down. So yeah, it's a big deal, and it's I think, just for the listeners, and if you haven't decided to join yet, there are going to be a lot more opportunities coming with this because of our alignment with the university and working together. Access is a big thing and something that, Southern Miss has always kind of had that open door policy. I don't know for sure, but I don't think Coach Huff is going to have that same open door policy when it comes to practice and stuff, which obviously allows for opportunities for us to be able to get it to certain people. And we want to make sure that the return on investment's not just something that you see on the field and product of wins and things, but being a part of something that gets you something that is going to keep you a member and keep you engaged. I think that's what we keep working towards as a collective to try to have that. Jason, you kind of touched on it a little earlier with our sort of exclusive behind the scenes interviews we'll be working on over the holidays with some players. But just having that total experience and being able to do it through the collective, I think is unique in terms of what we've got going on for us, because when it comes to Sunbelt teams and it comes to the teams that we compete with, we do have a lot greater resources and a lot better situation. I mean, I know firsthand, I don't even like to admit this, but we spent a lot of money on one win, and he spent a lot less money on a conference championship. And I don't say that to give everybody, to just kind of sit back and think that we're good. We got to keep pushing, because the conversations that I have with Coach Huff now about where we are, where we think we can be, I'm pretty conservative, because I never know, what it's going to amount to or how big of a push we can get. And his mindset is, man, the more you can get me, the better. And I believe that. I believe that, we allow him the resources, he's gonna show us that return. It's what he talked about today. And he made it pretty clear he's not here to play, and he's not here just to he's got a structure in place that we've been able to see from afar. And so I think that's comforting, and I think to see where this thing can take us is it's one of the reasons why I'm doing it, is because I know that I've seen what we've been able to accomplish off of some bad years. And you switch the record around from 3-9 or 1-11 to 9-3 and 11-1, and man, we're on fire. And that's what keeps things going for us. That those times are ahead of us. So yeah, I would just strongly encourage everyone to support. Obviously, we're going to have to do some things early on and do some convincing to get some guys here, because I think a lot of those Marshall players are hot commodities. So when they hit the portal, they're open for everybody. Of course, they're biased to their coach, and they know what they're used to, but they also know their coach got a raise. And so they feel like, obviously when they get in the portal, that they're open game for anybody. And, that's what Coach Huff, he wants to make sure of too, that we're able to show them a package or something of value that is going to be able to convince them to come here and stay in this program that is a winning program that they were a part of at Marshall and can be a part of here. So I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it, and I appreciate everybody's support. To thetopcollective.com. You know, like Jason said, $17 a month is our lowest monthly donation. It comes out to around $200 annually. The more we can get of that, I think the better. I've talking to some donors, some bigger donors that, you know, have check in with me and want to know what we're doing and how we're growing, because, you know, a lot of people that give a lot of big money, they want to know that everybody else is doing it too. So I don't know if everybody's seen it. I got some stuff on the message boards earlier this week about we've got a match donor right now that basically said, you know, if we can get to 50K, he'll match it, and that'll turn it into 100K real quick. And I've got another one that is willing to do it as well. So if the fans, if the members, if we can annualize $50,000 within our memberships, then we can turn it into 150,000 really quick, which will be really helpful in what we're trying to do, what we're trying to build, and you know, doing it in strength in numbers and bringing somebody along with you if you join, and getting somebody else in the game. Makes a big impact, makes a big difference, and I think it's something we can look up and this time next year and you know, be proud about where we're at and where we're going, which is something that we haven't had, I guess, in the last you know, close to a decade now. Just
Sure.
kind of underwhelming ourselves and knowing what we're capable of and not achieving that, but feels like we got the right pieces in place now, and I'm excited for it. One thing that he did have at Marshall that we had talked about doing here was a finding process, which I thought was interesting. I don't want to tell too much, but you know, you start finding kids when they don't show up to class or they don't show up on time to a workout. He said he only had to find people for about 2 months, and they got in line real quick. So just the organization, the structure that he is going to bring to this whole thing from that standpoint is you know, I'm looking forward to it. It reminds me a lot, just talking with some of his assistants and the staff already, that, you know, it's very reminiscent of the time that I had here, which was a lot of good memories. So I'm excited for it, and like I said, just appreciate everybody's support, and looking forward to seeing where this thing's going to go.
Yeah, and if people are wondering who this is Peter Bain, who is the only person right now, I guess, that's running the collective. One of the smartest guys that we are just blessed to have just participating in this new age of Golden Eagle athletics, and Peter, of course, played here, was a punter here, so he knows the landscape, and he is doing a fantastic job over there at the collective. We're going to start doing our part with that before long. I think that I have a few minutes more available than I normally do since I have my shoulder surgery, Peter. So go ahead and feel free to take advantage of me over the next a couple months or so. I can do whatever it is that you need us to do. I can at least participate from a computer desk as much as you need. And man, thank you for calling in so much. It's a crazy day, right? It's a crazy day and age where you were talking about paying players. And I still run into people all the time. They're like, man, I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can give the Eagle Club. I can give to this. I can give to that. I just can't pay somebody to come and play here because I was a college student and nobody paid me. So what do you say to those people?
Yeah. So valid point, man. I mean, I'm with you. It's when you think of it like that, yeah, it's like, man, it's like, feels like you're just asking me for gas money at the gas station or something.
Right.
Like, what do you mean you need money? Like, you're here on a full scholarship, and you know, what is that? So I totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
What I'll say to that is, you know, To the Top Collective started so that we didn't have to wait, because, and I say that meaning the there's going to be another change, and things are going to continue to change. It's not going to stay exactly like it is right now, but you've got to understand we're not there yet. And so by doing this and by giving to the collective, because this is how we're set up right now, this is what we've got to do right now. Well, next year or July 1st or next January, 2026, whenever this settlement does finally happen and get finalized, it's all going to look the same. And the support of NIL is going to be a little bit probably more streamlined with the same giving. Like, I can give to the Eagle Club. Well, if you can give to the Eagle Club, you can give to the players, because that's what it is. Like, you're giving to the Eagle Club, they're going to reap the benefits of it. You're not exactly going straight to their pocket, but you're giving to the same cause. It's the same, whatever it is that you need to feel in order to give. That's what it is. That is why we exist. We're not a collective that is trying to be our own athletic fundraising arm. We want to make sure that when those laws and those things do change, that we're not sitting here trying to figure it out, which is what a lot of our peers are doing. A lot of the teams in the Sun Belt that aren't organized, a lot of teams even at the lower Power 4 that don't have their stuff together when it comes to this. It's like they're scrambling and they're waiting to see what other people are doing. Well, we're following very closely with what's going on to stay ahead of it, so that when that shift does happen, we don't have to wait, and we're not behind, and we don't have to say, well, now that we know this, we got to do this. It's like, no, this is what it is. This is where it's going. So if you shift your support, or you can just keep giving it. And if it makes you feel better to give it to the Eagle Club, give it to the Eagle Club. If it makes you feel better to give it to the Touchdown Club to help with those resources, help with those resources. That's great. But the reality of guys getting paid and it being more open is out there, and this is how it looks, and this is what it is. So that's all I'll say to that. I think that we're very quickly, there is going to be some type of reform. It is going to get to Congress, and legislation is going to come down with a new type of structure. But it's not really going to look any different. They're still going to be getting paid. They just might be taking it off your ticket sales, or, however the revenue sharing and all that looks. But bottom line is, we are what make it. The donors, the supporters, the fans, we are what make the athletics. Look at any successful, thriving athletic institution. Their stadiums are filled out every week, sold out, and that's what it takes. So we have that control. And to say that I'm just not going to support that, that's fine. Well, at least I hope you're supporting the Eagle Club. At least I hope you're buying season tickets, because they're all the same. It's not about just paying the players, and that's been the perception because of the way that it is, but there's a lot of people that pay a lot more money to have a coach not coach. I mean, think about it. Jimbo Fisher made $70 million to not do his job. So let's give some kids some money to come and perform. I mean, it's a way better way to see your return of investment, rather than, giving a guy helping give to a buyout, because he was terrible, or he didn't do his job. So that's all I'll say about that. I mean, I totally get it. The kids, they're getting a scholarship. They're getting this already. Totally get it. But it's all still support, and it just looks a little different, and you have to adapt.
Well, Peter, I would always, this is me. So this is taking it way down several levels, but is it kind of like people who, look, things have just changed. Things have changed. This is just it's done a different way now, and we have a guy like you in charge that's getting us on the front line of that. But is it the same as there's some people out there who still use cable, right? They still pay for the cable.
There are.
Believe it or not, There's probably some there's probably some phone lines that still, I don't know. Can you still pay for long distance? I don't know. If there's a way to do that, I'm sure there's some people that are like, I don't care. I'm not going that route. But there's other people who at the very beginning of it bought Apple stock or whatever, right? So
Right.
I mean, is that kind of where we are? We're on the front lines of that, where you still don't understand it, but if you wait around till you understand it, you're lost, right?
Kind of. I mean, to an extent, you're just gonna be that much farther behind. Like you're gonna be. It's a good analogy. Like, I mean, obviously, if you still have cable and you decide to cut the cord, you can get streaming right away. But if you are stuck on cable and you're thinking, this is how I watch TV, this is all I want, I'm just going to keep doing this, then that's fine too, as long as you're still supporting like that. All I'm saying is what we're doing now, what it looks like now is what it is going to be in the future. The way that it's set up is probably just going to be a little differently, but that's where we're ahead, right? That's where we have it in order, where we're not waiting on the NCAA to say this is what you need to do or this is how it needs to be structured. We've learned and we've grown through this whole last 4 years of what it is. And so we have this recipe that allows us to be successful in this new age already. And so when that change does happen, or when that settlement is resolved, there's not going to be a lag time. We're going to just continue business as usual. And it's for our fans. That's what it's for. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to support, however you want to support. This is a way that we need to show support, and we're working on ways to make sure that your experience and your enjoyment is fulfilled on a greater level as well. That's what it comes down to. This is another avenue for your fan experience, for you to be able to enjoy Southern Miss athletics for a long time, not just next year, not just next week, not just in 2 years, but for a long time.
Well, and kind of also to like be a part of it, right? I mean, this is something you can kind of hang your hat on. I mean, whether it's Eagle Club or all that, but with the changing landscape, I mean, like if you're wearing around one of those shirts like PLo was wearing today with the To the Top Collective on it, you're part of the forward thinking, moving faster people, right? This is you're everybody. We talked about it earlier with pulling on the rope the same direction and all that, but that's it's just a way to be a part of that. Peter, and I know we didn't like ask you for an interview, but there has been a question come in, and Right Field Rugrats writes in, any idea on if our collective will ever be a charitable organization for tax?
Like the foundation?
I guess. I don't know. I just read it. I was hoping you could come in with your expertise. If that doesn't make any sense, then we'll just blame Right Field Rugrats.
It does.
Okay.
It does make sense. I understand the question, and I'll tell Right Field Rugrats there is a scenario that of a conversation we can have depending on their level of giving. But for the masses, I'll just say that probably is not something that'll be a taxable write-off, because we exist to make money. We're not a charitable donation. The To the Top Collective is a for-profit entity. We're a marketing agency, so we're constantly trying to figure out ways to make money, to create revenue, and it's not just on the fans. It's not just on the members. Our membership model is what makes us unique and special, and better than every other Sunbelt NIL fundraising effort. But there are some that are catching up because of these new revenue streams of different angles of how to, like, there's a lot of companies that reach out to collectives, and there's a lot of companies that reach out to our collective because of our website, because of all these things. Companies from all over the country that say, hey, can you help us sell our product and we'll give you a percentage, right? So I listen to a lot of calls each week about companies that would have no way of selling their product to Southern Miss fans or to Southern Miss alumni that have businesses that without our help, right? So I become, the collective becomes a sort of a liaison for companies to get in and use the resources of the university, and alumni purchasing power is strong, right? So
Absolutely.
I'll say that to say, there's definitely ways that we're creating more revenue. Our membership model, our fans, our lineage of tradition is what makes us better than every other team in our league. And that's what's got to continue, and that's what's got to grow to continue that separation, because there are other teams that have other businesses and other resources with folks too. So I guess to answer the question in a long way, no, your typical donation, monthly membership donation is probably not ever going to be a way that is taxable, but that should be okay, because the collective is going to give you something in return. It's
Sure.
not something that you should want to just say, I'm writing this off or whatever. It's, hey, I'm doing this so I get an up close and personal look with Coach Huff or the new team,
Right.
whether that be at a spring event, a spring practice, or at fall camp, or over the summer, or certain levels that you're gonna be getting a return for that money. So that's all I'll say to that. It's not something that has anything that it's going to give you a tax write-off, unless your level of giving gets to a certain point. Then we can have a conversation about how we can make that, if that's what you're looking
for. I tell you what it might end up giving you. It might end up giving you some wins, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that isn't that the ultimate thing here. It might end up giving, like, putting some W's in the win column there. So that should be enough. It's just where it is. It's kind of like advertising. Every kind of advertising is good. I mean, if you want to advertise with us on To the Top Talk, great. If you want to put up a billboard, great. All of it's good. But if you really want to like drive down to like just straight like needle to the vein, I mean, bro, this is kind of it. So
yeah, the wins and the Rock being filled up with 38,000 strong each weekend, and potentially having 7 home games, and one of them being a Sun Belt Conference championship in Hattiesburg, that's going to do more for you than anything, than any kind of billboard or any kind of ad that the collective can give you. But by giving to the collective, it allows for that opportunity to happen, for us to be able to be so mad at the traffic on Saturdays because there's so many people in town.
No doubt. Pete, man, thank you so much for calling in. Listeners, if you can go follow To the Top Collective on Twitter, and I'm sure Instagram and all that, right, Pete?
Absolutely. And I'm easily accessible. You guys can hit me up, email me, DM one of the social handles. If you got any questions, I'm here for it. Passionate about this. I know everyone else is too. So whatever I can do to kind of convince you, or just at least find another way for you to help, if you're eager to want to help, and that's what it takes.
Or reach out to us as well. I mean, if somebody reaches out to us with a question, we'll definitely point them the right direction. So.
Yeah, and Rayfield Regrets has chimed in once more. He says 100% agree. Peter's a rock star. Keep at it. So thank you very much. Peter, thanks for calling in. PLo, this has been one heck of an episode.
We got one more that has been requested for a while.
Okay, let's hit it.
We definitely want him on. So
yeah, Pete, thank you so much.
Brother.
To the top, my brother. All right, I guess Pete's gone.
Yeah,
here we go.
Go ahead. We'll unmute.
He might have fallen asleep in the recliner.
Maybe.
That would be great if we were snoring.
No,
he's awake.
No, I'm here. What's up, fellas?
What's up? Who is this?
It's Renfro.
Renfro. Wow. See, I can't see any of this. PLo, I'm on the other side. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess PLo can tell.
He doesn't have the magic behind the.
So Renfro from Washington D.C., fresh off of a Congress run or some sort of majorly important speech that you've done today, I'm sure. So, what's up, my brother?
No speeches in the rain today. I got a few things. My original points are going to be preempted a little bit, and I just want to tell anybody that's listening how fortunate we are to have Peter running our collective. Like, that dude is unbelievable. And when you compare it to the collectives and the way they operate for like other schools in the conference, he is incredible. And
he's so smart in the way that he
fortunate.
explains
And
everything.
Just awesome.
Yes.
And accessible. I mean, for anybody that's like thinking about becoming a member, I'd say I'll be a little more blunt than him. If you have $17 a month and you want Southern Miss to succeed, join the collective. You will not regret it. It's just unbelievable. And so many times we look at our past and we think about like conference realignments that have happened, and it seems like we were always left behind. This is an area that we are ahead, and we have to stay ahead and keep going, man. So no, that may have been the best like 20 minutes in the history of Twitter space. That was fantastic.
Hey, Renfro, real quick. I mean, you mentioned the $17 a month thing. Like, let's just say if like 20,000, like half the Rock, right? 20,000 people sign up. It's $17 a month. What is that? 20,000 times 17. That's $340,000 times 12. That's a little bit over $4 million every year.
Yes.
At $17 a month. It's just half the people that come to the Rock. It's less than what we average in attendance. $17 a month. That's one less McDonald's meal, right? I know this is kind of starting to sound like Sally Struthers back in the day, but it's true, right? It's true that
it's
all this money adds up.
Yep. It's 2 or 3 trips to Starbucks. And look, we're all obviously for good reason focused on football right now, but it is a massive part of basketball. It's a huge part of baseball, and it's only, it's only going to grow. Look, the other thing, I wanted to thank Shane for, outing Jamie. That was fun. That'll be useful in the future. Even an expert can fail, I guess. And, Bump, you mentioned Cliff Clavin. He came by my office once. And he walked in and he's like, hey, he's like big loud guy. And he's like, you're the letter carriers and you never called me. I said, yeah, we did. We called you to come speak at an event and you wanted $100,000. So I don't know. Maybe if he comes by again, I'll tell him, I'll connect him with Peter. We'll see if that works.
Wow. Fantastic.
So I have been busy all day and I just got to watch the press conference a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I was just, man, first off, the event looked awesome. I mean,
It was awesome.
I planned on being there, and unfortunately, life happens and work and stuff. But the event looked awesome. But I was like, really, I guess I didn't really think about what to expect from Coach Huff in the introductory press conference. But I think he was very genuine in himself. But I think that he set the tone for what we are going to see and experience.
Yep.
He was just spot on, no nonsense, the things that he emphasized. And the one thing that really stood out to me that I've thought about for the last little while is, he talked about like the transition being difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what that means is, if a transition is difficult, then that transition, the other side of that transition is something that's very different, which is, exactly, I think, what at this point everyone would agree that we need in terms of culture and toughness. One thing I wanted to see what you guys thought about, and Peter talked about something that I've heard of, but this is the most I'd ever really heard about it. Is, we set up like NIL deals with a lot of these players, and he talked about the fines, which is an interesting concept. But I think that shows, how serious he is.
Yeah.
About discipline.
Are fines the new suicides?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's the one thing. I mean,
the new stadiums.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, you got to hit those guys where it hurts, and honestly, just where we are in today's world, and I think the student athletes of today, especially in the era of NIL, I mean, you tell them you're going to take away some of their money, and I think that's going to get their attention. I mean, if all I got to do is go to class and turn in my assignments on time, and I'm not going to get fined, I think I'm going to do it.
That's a very interesting perspective, PLo. That would have gotten me.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, the suicides got me.
Yeah, but those guys are so like running. I mean, they'll run, they'll throw up, and then all right, I'm just going to do it again.
But if that's $5,000 if you're late for a workout. That's different.
Yeah,
or whatever the money is.
Yeah, I mean, $100. If they're getting $1,200 a month or whatever, and you take away 10% of that.
Did you guys see the player from Florida, the linebacker that they were recruiting? Or maybe he was already at Florida. I don't know. I just saw the tweet. But I want to say he demanded like $47,000 per month and a starting position, or he wouldn't sign. Did you guys see that?
No.
I think Florida
did not.
I think Florida passed. But
it's a hard pass.
That's actually that's going on. I'm sure at a lower level it's going on with us, right?
Oh yeah. It's just scaled, sure.
Yeah, can you imagine going to a coach and being like, "Hey, thank you so much. Here's the deal. I'm gonna need." I mean, whatever it is. I mean, it's. I guess it's just kind of the point that I was trying to get to with Peter is that it's just unfathomable for people that are able to make these payments now who went to college when none of this happened. Saying like, "What are you gonna ask? You're gonna go and you're gonna ask for money to do something that we're already giving you a scholarship for." Like it's hard for people my age, I think, to wrap my brain around it. And I've done it. It still seems crazy, but I also realize that it's necessary, right? Is that the mental hurdle that you have to get over before you start giving the $17? Does that make any sense to anybody?
I think it makes perfect sense. And what's interesting to me is like Peter talked about the legislation that's coming. It's all about revenue sharing. This idea of, which it's true that a lot of schools have made a lot of money off student athletes. But what's interesting to me is NIL came along, became legal, I guess you would say, so players could earn money before the change in the law that would require the schools that are making money off the kids to share the revenue.
Right.
Right.
It's a little backwards.
I don't know. That's college. I mean, that scenario you gave, it may be easier to get $47,000 a month in a starting position. Who knows?
Sure.
Who knows? But I know this. It's like very exciting, and I've kind of really felt this way about our NIL. And I mean, Peter, even when it first started, and Peter's of course taking it to a different level. I think we should really recognize and be excited about the fact that this is an area that is a big piece of being competitive that we're ahead of the curve on. And, that we need to do everything we can do to, embrace that and stay ahead of the curve. And look, it really, when we look around at like resources and athletic budgets and facilities and like all those things and compare them to our conference, our conference mates, this is an area where right now we have an advantage. And it's also happens to be the area where, for better or worse, or whether we agree with it or not, is one of the primary things, if not the primary thing, that gets players on campus in every sport. And players equate to wins, under a good coaching staff. So I just think, man, wherever we have an opportunity to gain an advantage and keep an advantage, we should. And with the way our collective is rolling and the way it's set up and Peter's work, we've got a chance to do that. So hopefully everybody will jump on board.
That is a very, very, very interesting perspective, because how many times, PLo, have we heard people call in, people write us and tweet at us and all that about when are we going to get like an indoor practice facility? When are we going to get when's Regreen going to get renovated and all that?
Yep.
Well, to Brian's point, we've got something that other people don't have. We should be kind of taunting this, right? Just putting it out there in front of everybody, like, hey, this in essence is our indoor practice facility. This is our advantage.
And one thing too that I learned a long time ago during my time in athletics, actually on a trip to Alabama, we were looking at some of their facilities and some of their technology, and their guy in marketing was basically talking about how their staff, basically everything they did, they weren't marketing to people to sell tickets. They were marketing to players even back then. And so all of their marketing efforts was getting the right players, because they get the right players and they get the wins, and then people come. And so Alabama was doing that in 2012 and 2011 and in 2015. And so they've had this head start because they've never had to really worry about selling tickets, where people at our level, all of our marketing efforts are to fans to get people in the seats, to try to get people there. And now with the NIL, we're starting to see that shift in our level of schools are saying, okay, if we can get these players on here and get these teams, then the wins are going to come and the fans are going to come. And so we're just, a decade behind in that, but the NIL has accelerated that at our level. This
is so interesting now. PLo has just brought it like full. So, boy, I'm really going to date myself with this, but so I've had this shoulder surgery. So I've been watching a lot of TV shows, like binging, right? I'm just sitting around a lot, like getting up and doing a little bit of physical therapy and then sitting around some more. So my favorite TV show ever is Northern Exposure. From the early 90s to the mid 90s, it ran for 5 seasons. I still think it's the best TV show that's ever been made. But during those TV shows, there's this group of different people throughout the episode that kind of end up having the same exact issue, and it comes full circle at the end of the episode. And so I thought that what Brian and PLo just did right there kind of summed it all up, right? Anyway, that was fantastic. I'm glad that it happened, and I was glad that I was kind of a spectator.
Wonderful. Well, it's just Brian hit on it, and then it just kind of ignited that memory of like, it's something that we need to aggressively take. Is taking this NIL seriously. We are trying to get the right guys here.
And on the flip side of that, it feels like Marshall's kind of doing what we did back in 2012, doesn't it? A little bit.
Yep.
Yep. And look, I'll just one more to pile on a little bit.
Do it.
The conversation that always happens about like what's different for us, let's say in the last decade or 15 years or whatever time frame you want to use, the somewhat recent past compared to whether it's the 80s or the 90s. And one thing that people bring up all the time is that there are, so many more Division I or FBS programs within the same sort of recruiting footprint,
sure.
South Alabama's and all those people.
Yep.
Well, that's true. But this NIL is an avenue and an opportunity for us to gain an advantage, whereas those schools have gained a lot of ground, maybe not that we've stepped backwards, but they've moved up and they've developed their own programs and own resources like this. But this is the path for us to maintain and grow that advantage and recruiting.
They're also quote unquote newer. And so they have newer stadiums, newer facilities. And so at a base level, it's like, oh, that's shinier and newer. But, Southern Miss has been around for 1 million years. And so, yeah, the Rock is older than what South Alabama's, plastic stadium is.
Bro, give me Fenway over Minute Maid every day of the week. Right?
But yeah, I mean, I get it. It's all of those schools at that level, the Charlottes and all those, they all have the same cookie cutter stadium, you know, and yes, it's nice and pretty and brick, but like, you know,
It's nice and pretty in aluminum.
Yeah, aluminum. There we go.
All right, fellas. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate what you guys do.
Yeah, it's late for you. Thanks for staying on with us.
Yeah. The great Brian Renfro, everybody.
Care,
thanks so much, buddy.
All right. See you, bro.
See you
All right,
guys.
PLo, this is an hour and 56 minutes. So we have
this might be the longest episode ever.
Completely not doing basketball.
Yeah, we're not. We're getting the shout outs, so we're getting out of here.
An hour ago, we thought about it.
Yeah, we did.
Basketball's not going to happen. I will say this. You might have to look this up for me, since I only have my left hand. But so new football coaches. I remember Will doing it. I remember Fedora doing it. They have come to basketball.
Yep.
And
spoke at halftime.
Yes. Gotten in front of the entire stadium and said, like, hey, I'm here. Let's kick some ass, whatever. You know, the coaches speak.
Sure.
If I'm not mistaken, we play Marshall pretty damn soon. Am I right about that?
Ooh. Let me look. Okay.
Because how cool would that be if he decided, if you know, he gets done recruiting, we've done the thing, we've already signed some players, we got some more people involved in the collective, we have this tremendous momentum, and then Charles Huff comes and speaks to the basketball. You got it?
Yeah, we play Ole Miss this Saturday on the coast. Next Saturday, the 21st, that huge weekend that he was talking about recruiting, we play Marshall in Ring Green.
On a Saturday?
On a Saturday.
Dude.
It's got to happen.
I don't know if that's in the works already, but whoever needs to hear that,
we'll send a text message.
This might be the clip of the show that we need to put out as a teaser.
Yeah.
It's got to happen. That's just got to happen. Anyway. Cool. Hey, buddy, do you have any shout-outs? You want to do some shout-outs, and then I'll do some shout-outs, and then we'll get out of here?
Yeah, I'm going to keep this music going. So, yeah, my shout-outs are, looking back at them, it's kind of collective of a lot of our coaches. So I bumped into Coach Eddie, men's golf coach, Coach Cowan, the new women's golf coach, got to talk to them. And I've kind of planted a seed there, and I haven't told you until right now. We're going to get out to the Geddes facility and do an episode out there with those guys soon.
I'm pumped.
December is some of their downtime, and so we're going to have that coming up, and we're going to go ahead and let everybody know that's coming. So buckle up. We will be
so like a behind-the-scenes look?
Yeah.
The whole deal.
Yep. We're going to record out there at their place with the new board. It's going to be awesome. So we'll get that scheduled out. So it was good to talk to them. Could talk to Jerry DeFata with obviously the Alumni Association. Good to catch up with him. Coach Barry and Coach Oz.
The best people
good to see
earth.
Those guys. And we obviously had Peter on. So Peter, man, we appreciate you. We are. I know you're pretty pumped about not only your segment on there tonight, but obviously Renfro getting on and echoing a lot of that. So I see you're still in here listening. So appreciate all that you do, man. And we are 110% behind you. And finally, a good friend of ours and friend of the show, John Smith. Sat by him the whole time and during the whole press conference, and got to chat, and we got some exciting things coming up with him as well. So quite the shout outs for me.
Yeah, you knocked it out of the park. Normally we get to this part and I'm like, he has nothing. And then you just come up with a bunch.
Or I'm typing as you're talking. Yes.
No, very good. I ran into a lot of those same people today as well, and they're all just good, just great. I mean, John Smith, great dude.
Yep.
Freaking 40, right?
The best.
You can see about 40, and then Oz. He's like, how the hell do we have him? I feel like that's how good he is. I mean, he's good enough for the Olympic team. And by the way, I don't know. So there's just something about Sutherland. Jerry DeFata. Another guy that you mentioned. I guess I'm doing your shout outs like over again, but
do it again. That's okay.
Man, they're just
they deserve
it. We've just hit the lottery.
Yeah.
in so many ways, shapes, and forms. And I don't know how we did it. I guess just because it's how we do it at Southern Miss. But my shout outs, Dr. Whitehead, Raymond Whitehead at the Hattiesburg Clinic performed my rotator cuff surgery.
Oh, yeah.
I was there, I'm a week out, and watch this. Just a little bit of shrug.
Man.
Feels like I'm trying to bench press like 220 pounds, but it's a week out, right?
Hey.
This is a 3-month process. Shout out to Dr. Whitehead for just being there and doing all that he does. I had a birthday this week, so shout out to my parents. I'm 48 years old, so 48 and 9 months ago, they got down, right? Thank you for making that decision.
Thanks for that. That's not awkward at all.
No, at least you didn't have like the
well,
that's the birthday music. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like,
oh, bow chicka wow wow.
Yes.
I should have. It was like Cloverleaf tagged us and said to the Top Talk After Dark, and we just went there. So
we did.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. Well, the Four Roses is making its voice heard, and I can blame Shane for that, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I saw Wayne Ray at Walmart yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. It was yesterday when we played basketball.
It was Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay, so Tuesday, so it was yesterday. It was the day after the game. My wife and I are walking through Walmart, just picking up a couple things really quick, and he sits right behind me in section G to the left. I saw him come around a corner, and he had his buggy, and he said he saw the sling on my arm, right?
Yeah.
He was like, You watch the game and just
that was it.
Hit a wall, right? And I was like, no. It was like an old baseball thing, and I should have had surgery years ago, but I just
thought you injured yourself because
he thought that I watched the Tulane game. I was like, the hell with this. I'm just putting my fist straight through that brick wall, but no. So shout out to Wayne. And my last shout out is probably the most important. So I share a birthday with one of my fraternity brothers, Matt Duckworth. We mentioned him this summer. So Matt, or this fall, I guess, Matt passed away from cancer. And so happy heavenly birthday, happy heavenly birthday to my fraternity brother, Matt Duckworth. One of the biggest Southern Miss supporters of all time.
Yep.
And miss you, buddy. So to the top. I hope that he's, in some way, shape, or form, still keeping tabs on what we're doing down here. So anyway, that's it. This episode was brought to you by Katie Bailey with Dunbar Real Estate. Something to show, something to list, something to sell. Call Katie today, 601-408-9980. Katie Bailey, your real estate agent for the Pine Belt. Any house, anywhere, anytime. Call today. Thanks for listening in. Whatever day you might have listened to, whichever platform you chose to listen in on. You remember you can follow me at Bumper J Bailey and Patrick at P Lowry. Follow us on all the social at southernmiss.com or to the top talk at gmail.com. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell somebody to the top today. And as always, Southern Miss
to the top.
Talk.
Ain't mad today, baby.
I could play for
Peace out, guys.
Yep.
USC. Are no